What's up, guys? Andrew Bishop here with my brother Matthew, giving a PC game review of Red Orchestra 2. The reason why it's a PC game review is because it's not for any other platforms other than the PC. I'm going to speak briefly upon it, and then I'm going to let Matt take it away. Just short and simple. In my opinion, it's the most realistic first-person shooter I've ever played. I've played a lot of Call of Duty, and I've played a lot of Battlefield in my day. And as far as realism goes, this game definitely takes it. The graphics are good, but they're not great, but there's reasons for that. It makes up in the realistic aspects of the game. If you're an FPS player, and you've been an FPS player, I definitely think it's one for you to own. Just to own it, just to see if you would like it. It's not for the gamer out there who likes to spawn and toss grenades or run across the field spraying his machine gun. It's not for a gamer like that, because you will not do well in this game. You need to be tactical, and you need to play with strategy. So I highly recommend it. Out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10, and I'll let my brother take it away.
Alright, so you're probably thinking, who's this guy? First off, how can I take him serious? He's got a Browns jersey on. I understand, but give myself a little bit of credence. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my gaming history. Since 2004, 5,300 hours PC games that I've played, not counting console. Of those, roughly 2,000 have been Call of Duty, almost 500 the Battlefield series. You throw in the Brothers in Arms, and all other sorts of FPS and all other types of games. I kind of know a little bit of what I'm talking about. On the flip side, I just finished my master's thesis a couple months ago on World War II video games and history and how they kind of relate. So, not to be arrogant, but I kind of know a little bit of the genre and what I'm talking about. And so, when Bishop asked me to do this review, I was excited. I'm going to go real quick. I'm going to go cons, pros, and overall analysis. And I'll try to have to be quick. So if I talk fast, I'm sorry. If you have any further questions, just send us an email or something.
Our Steam names are in the description if you want to play with us.
Yeah. So first off, cons. There are a lot of bugs in this game. In fact, I would not have rated it an 8 out of 10 right now, but it has the potential to get that good, and I'll tell you why. First off, some of these bugs, they're not universal, so don't think that everyone has these. Unfortunately, we experienced a few, so let's run them down real quick. Right now, there's a server browser issue with Steam, where servers don't appear. It's not really that big of a deal once you get into a game because you don't have to reload the server, but sometimes you have to get out, get back in, get out, get back in until the server shows up.
And the only fix we found out for that is by getting out, getting back in, getting out of Steam, opening Steam back up.
Eventually, I'm sure that's going to be fixed. They have to fix something like that, so okay, that's annoying now, but it'll go away. Another major bug is that stats aren't reporting for all servers or all times or players. We played about 2 or 3 hours last night where our stats weren't taken, into effect or whatever.
And they were ranked servers.
Yeah.
We're aware of searching servers.
Yeah, so that's another bug. It was frustrating, but experience is experience. So yeah, okay, we missed 2 hours of stat experience, but we gained a little bit more of knowledge how to play the game. So fine, I'm sure that's going to be fixed too, but it is frustrating at first. A couple other small things. For one, it says you can spawn on your squad command or leader. As of right now, that you can't do that. It's not working. There have been a slight other glitches. For example, when you're bleeding out, and I'll talk about this a little bit more, you can bandage yourself up, but that pop-up shows up on your screen even when it's not possible. So it says bandage yourself up, but you're already dead. So it's kind of pointless. So that's a minor glitch that they should fix. It's just more annoying than anything. There are also a little bit issues with the hide behind feature that's in the game, the protective feature where you can hide behind a wall and get behind that. It isn't as fluid as I've seen in other games. However, if you're not used to that system, it's going to seem really, really broken, but it's not. It's difficult to do that type of thing in a first-person shooter and it feel natural. But I think that overall that this game does it well. So those are some bugs.
We've had 2 game crashes.
Yeah, that's the other one, is that there's random.exe game crashes. A lot of games crash, it happens, but it's only happened to me twice now in about 7-8 hours of playing. I think it's happened to him about 2 times as well. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fixed eventually. I mean, these are all things that they have to fix, and they're aware of them. They're on the forums already. But if you're reading them on the forums, what they're saying is true, but not for everyone. And it's the type of stuff that once you get in the server, once you get playing, you kind of forget about them. So if you can, just survive a couple weeks, I'm sure that they're going to release an emergency hotfix patch or something like that to fix it. So, yeah, those are the cons.
Before we move into the pros, would you say if a gamer did not have the instant crash .exe crash, if he's been able to see the servers every single time, and would you then rate it maybe an 8 out of 10, or is it still in the 7 area because of the minor glitches in the game?
Well, I think the major glitches with the server and stuff like that, I would
rate it.
If you didn't have any of those, we'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
I'll give an overall rating at the end. So the pros, like he said, it is probably the most realistic World War II first-person shooter I've ever played. It is not Call of Duty. You can just if you're a Call of Duty fan and you're considering buying this, but you're only a Call of Duty fan and you can't branch out of Call of Duty, don't buy this game because you will hate it. It is not for those who like to spray and pray, run and gun, jump off of cliffs, not get hurt, spin around with your, whatever MP44, whatever other gun you want to use, and I'm talking World War II, but you can do Modern Warfare or whatever. That's not what this type of game is. It is tactical and it is realistic. Now, I'll say, you might be familiar with tactical gamers and other Call of Duties. It's very unnatural when Call of Duty servers make you do tactical stuff, make you crouch the whole time, walk around, can't use pistols sometimes, can't throw random nades.
Can't sprint.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, I understand where they're coming from, but that's not what I'm talking about in this game. Call of Duty was not made to be a tactical game. It was made for more or less running gun.
It's an arcade game.
Yeah, consider how many... how much you cannot snipe anymore in Call of Duty games. They don't promote that kind of gameplay. They promote high-octane, fast-paced action. That's not what this game is. And I don't want you to think that because those tactical servers that Call of Duty clans have, they just don't feel right. And it's the reason because Call of Duty wasn't made that way. This game, on the other hand, was made with that in mind. So you have to be smart because I'm not going to put down like Call of Duty players. Obviously, with my stats, you hear how much I play. But these games are built for a more mature, patient, first-person shooter gamer. You have to be smart. You can't just run out in the open, because the people who play these games, it's almost like a cult. The people who play these games, like they played the original one, they're really good at what they do.
They're great.
The people in this game are good gamers, and they are good shots. I was we were part of Rifles Only Clan for a long time on TWL. We were really good. We weren't the greatest of all time, but we were a really good clan, and we loved Rifles Only. And it got to the point where we were so good with a rifle that we didn't care about playing against someone who had a machine gun because we felt like we could always beat them because rifles are more powerful and all that kind of stuff, and we were really good long-range shots. In this game, the level of playing has been increased. The bar is a lot higher. These people who use rifles in this game, they are good. They are really, really good. And so it doesn't matter how much experience you have. If you run out across the middle of a map, out of the field, you're gonna get shot. And I think that leads to a lot of people's frustration, is because they have the Call of Duty and maybe even partially the Battlefield frame of mind in their head, where I can just run around here, come up across 5 guys, rapid fire AK-74 them, kill them all, and move on. You can't do that here. You have to be smart. You have to flank. You have to throw out smoke. You have to move from spot to spot in order to stay behind cover. And you have to just be patient. Now, I don't want you to think it's a giant camp fest, because I've heard that before. I've heard that this game is mainly just people camping. That's not the case, because the gamers who play this game are good enough that if they get shot from one spot, they're going to look there the next time they spawn. And you have to relocate. So it's not really a camp fest. You might get 1 or 2 kills there, but if I'm playing and I get killed in the same spot twice, you best know that you're going to die next time I spawn. That's all there is to it. You got to relocate. And so I think that this game promotes a more slow-paced, kind of tactical, think about it before you move type of gameplay. And then, not only on that, you have to be really good at shooting, because you can't just aim in the direction, because this game promotes the realistic aspects of what it was like to be a soldier, as close as you can get, I guess. So breathing is intensified. Your gun doesn't just snap back to where it was before you shot. The recoil causes your gun to slightly be off target a little bit. So you can't just shoot and then shoot and then shoot. You have to constantly be readjusting your aim. That's a lot more realistic. The gun soundings, the positional audio of the fire of the shots are very, very good. So you may not be able to see the guy who's shooting at you, but you're going to hear from what direction he is. Let's see, other things. Grenade explosions, things like that can increase in the game, like your heart rate, and because of that, it blur the screen, make your aiming a little bit off.
Holding your breath is key with a rifle.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you really, when you're sprinting, you don't have infinite sprint at a fast pace. You have a given amount of time, and then you start breathing heavier. And if you try to right click and aim and then hold your breath, you're flustered. You're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to be accurate.
Right, and so you have to. Don't think that it's just a slow crawl up the field. There are times where you have to run. There are streets sometimes you have to cross, and you just have to hope sometimes you don't die. And it adds a level of tenseness to a game that I don't think I've been around in FPS in a very, very long time. Because you know what you want to do, you think you can do it, but actually going out and doing it in the game is really, really hard. Because yes, you might know that you have to flank left, and yes, you know you have to clear out that building in order to get behind their machine gunner that's in place in a window. But going out and doing that without being seen, and then killing the guys that you come across, and then accomplishing your goal is tough stuff. And because of that, your mind has to be sharp all the time. And I think that's the best part of this game. If I had to say what the best part of this game is that I've never gotten more satisfaction, this is going to sound really weird, of killing someone in a video game.
Or in real life.
No, I don't know what he's talking about. Paintball maybe. In that rather than in this game. Because when you line up your rifle shot, most of the time you're going to get one shot, maybe two, before you're going to have people shooting at you. So you got to take your time, you got to fire, and then you got to hope they're dead. Now, I talked about the bleeding out system. That's something a little bit different. So if you get hit in the chest, your head, you're dead, you're going to die. But let's say you get in the lower torso, maybe your legs, maybe your arms, something like that, and you get shot, you can actually patch yourself up and repair yourself. You only get 2 per life or whatever in multiplayer. And now people might think, oh, that seems silly, but it's not, because you only have a certain amount of time to patch yourself out before you bleed to death. And so it's not always beneficial when you get shot to just stand there and start patching yourself up in the middle of the field. So you might sometimes have just enough time to run to cover, patch yourself up, but sometimes if you do that, you can die because you ran out. So you have to make a split-second decision. Do I either take one more shot at this guy while I'm bleeding out and risk bleeding out, or do I hurry up running for cover, try to patch myself up, and then take another shot at him? It adds a different thing. It's not like what you're used to possibly in some other games where either you run over a healthcare package like it used to be, or you just get behind a rock and heal up for 4 seconds. That's not how it is anymore.
Yeah, it's not going to baby you. Your health's not going to regenerate. There's no HUD. There's no crosshair. You don't automatic reload, so you have to know how many bullets you have. I mean, it's realism at its fullest. I mean, it's not going to cater to your little needs that you're used to make the game fun. I mean, it's fun, but it's not going to be one of those games where like it's so easy for you. They're not going to spoon feed you. They might have the meal in front of you, but they're not going to put that spoon in your mouth.
It's fun because it's challenging and it's hard. So the average gamer who likes to have dogs jump off the side of the screen and eat the opposing team, or get into a Huey and just gun down people, this isn't going to be your game. For the people who like the challenging stuff, for the people who think that FPS has gotten too easy, then this is your game. But this game is $40 retail, and it's $40 retail for a reason. Its graphical engine, like Andrew said, is a little bit dated, but it's not supposed to be the next Battlefield 3. So if you got this idea of a Crisis engine in your mind, or I don't know, Battlefield 3 in your mind, yeah, you're going to be highly disappointed. Now, I'm not going to say, one of my friends asked me tonight, he was like, is it better than United Offensive's graphics? Well, yes, it's better than United Offensive's graphics. It's not that bad, but I would date it about a year and a half. So think more like Modern War, probably somewhere between
World at War,
Modern Warfare 1 to Modern Warfare 2, somewhere around there. but it's not bad because you're not buying the game for the graphics. Okay, you're buying the game for the realism that it offers and the difficulty that it offers. So if you're only into high graphics, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't look bad. They look fairly good, but some of the models are a little sketch. But they stress themselves on the models of uniforms, weapons, the sounds of uniforms and weapons and tanks and things like that. And then these maps. The maps are what they claim to be historically accurate. And this is what I did with my thesis a little bit, looking at what that means and all that kind of stuff. But they stress by using photos and reconnaissance and stuff like that to try to create these maps of places in Stalingrad, because the whole game takes place in Stalingrad, and familiar sites for those who would have been fighting there. So like a grain elevator and the train yard and places like that. These are all historical places where some of the heaviest fighting of Stalingrad, which was one of the deadliest battles of all time in the modern era, took place. So yes, it's the maps. I don't want to say it makes you feel like you're there, but these maps are designed with the idea of putting you in a historical perspective. We're trying to place you back to how it was then.
And they do a great job.
Yeah, and I think they do a great job. So
I like all the maps.
Yeah, so we haven't even gotten through all of them.
Not been disappointed with any maps. Game types, 3 different game types.
An S&D type.
Search and destroy type, a
territorial, which
type.
is kind of like domination.
Sort of, yeah.
But different, it has its different aspects in the TDM.
Or firefight, as they call it. Spawns, there's no spawn points at TDM. You spawn kind of randomly around your teammates, so you could be in the midst of fire and spawn with them. They could be flanking someone and you spawn with them. They give you tips and warnings about that though. So when you spawn, you got to be ready.
Yeah.
They're not going to spawn you back in the back of the map, so then you have to run out. Like I said, you can spawn exactly in the middle of the map if teammates are there. We should probably maybe hit 1 or 2 more pros and then wrap up your overall score.
Yeah, the spawn is something that I've seen on forums. People get pissed off in the team deathmatch that they spawn anywhere, and the game says it's random as long as you spawn near a friendly of yours. But this can have its advantages and disadvantages. There's been plenty of times I spawned and I've died instantly because the guy that I spawned on was getting shot at by a machine gun, and then I get shot at a machine gun and I die. However, it can have its advantages too. You have a teammate who has a huge sick flank on the enemy. They're inside the house that 6 other enemies are inside. You spawn on him with 3 of your buddies. You wipe out the house. Tide of the battle's changed. So, it has its advantages and disadvantages. The other thing is, on the territorial maps or whatever, I never felt like I spawned so far away from the battle that it took a half an hour to walk there or run there. That's not how it is. At the same point, you do have to be careful. So it's actually really good. The maps are big enough for rifle battles to take place, which is what my favorite thing in the game is to do. When you get one-on-one with a really good rifler, it's awesome. Think enemy at the gates. The other thing is though, they're large enough for rifle battles, but they're small enough that when you spawn back at your base, 20 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, you're going to either see an enemy or you're going to get shot and killed.
Right.
Yeah. So the map design has been really good. I would say that if I had to give it a score or discuss like my overall feelings, as of right now, because of how many bugs there are, if you're just an average gamer wanting to find a game, you're going to rate it somewhere around like a 5 out of 10. You are, because it's going to frustrate you so much because it's difficult and there's some bugs that you wouldn't be accustomed to. If you like first-person shooters, if you like difficulty, if you like World War II games, it's more in the 6 or 7 range now. But from an overall perspective, if they work out these bugs, I don't think it would ever be a 10 out of 10 because there's some issues with it. But I could definitely see where it could be an 8.5 or maybe a 9 if you really like it. The thing is, it's $40 though, and that's my overall analysis. Is that you're paying $20 less than a AAA title game, and you should not be buying this game for the graphics and the major explosions and all that kind of stuff. You should be buying this game for the gameplay and the difficulty and the idea of a World War II shooter that is more realistic than what we've become accustomed to with the Call of Duties and things like that. So, if you're looking at it that perspective, this game has a great potential to be awesome. And it is only $40. Now, I'm not saying that I have $40 laying around everywhere, but Battlefield 3 doesn't come out till the end of October. Even the beta coming out is not going to hold your attention as much.
Right.
So if you're not playing Deus Ex right now and you have nothing else to play, for $40, pick it up because you will be able to get a whole month and a half or whatever out of it. There's tracking on everything from your overall character to your specific class to your specific gun. The more you use your gun, the class or whatever, you get boost, like aim down sight time is quicker, reload time is quicker. So there's a lot of things you could work for, a lot of achievements that you could work for. There's replayability is good in this game when it comes to multiplayer. It actually, the more you play, the better you become. It's how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have $40, I would say go out and give it a shot.
No pun intended.
Yeah, but be prepared for until they get some of these glitches fixed. It can be very, very frustrating. So you have to go in with a lot of patience, and you have to just go in knowing that you're playing it for the gameplay when it works. Now, I know that should not be an excuse for them to release this game with all these bugs, but Red Orchestra has statistically been one of the most supported games after release. And so if they carry that over from Red Orchestra 2, not to mention the fact that it's completely moddable, then I got a good feeling that this game over time could be really, really good. So, go out and buy it for $40, play it for a month and a half. Battlefield, Modern Warfare, Skyrim, Far Cry 3, Zelda, those are some of the games I'm going to be getting. Those all games are going to come and go, but next March, April, May, somewhere around there, if you don't buy it now, wait till then. I'm sure it's going to be fully patched, probably new maps, things like that. Go out and buy it then when the dead period in gaming comes, because it is a type of game, especially for the price, that I think overall is worth it. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions whatsoever, this was very brief. We didn't even talk about single player. In fact, we don't have too much experience with it. But so far, if you have any other questions with the game, specific questions you want to answer before you go out and buy it, let us know, because if you're on the fence, it's better to be informed before you make your decision than to just be a rash decision to either yes, buy it, or no, never buy it because, I don't know, some guy in Cleveland said it was good or bad. So
Xfire and Steam info is in the description. Feel free to add us, ask us questions, game with us.
Yeah, we love to play. There's squads in the game, so it's very, very easy to play with your friends. Super easy. You don't get forced onto a team, one team or the other. You get to choose.
Yeah.
But the gamers in this game are mature enough to make it balanced.
Yeah.
So if you're a mature FPS player, you like World War II, or you like a difficult challenge, go out and get this game tomorrow.
Get the game.
Yeah.
Peace.
No.